Hands down, that is the best macaroni cheese I've ever had. Hi, Ashley here and welcome to Funky Fresh Food. Today I'm tackling the absolute classic comfort meal, macaroni cheese. Before I started planning my recipe, I decided I wanted to find out a little bit more about the origins of macaroni cheese. So I headed online to do some thorough research. Wikipedia. And I was really surprised to find out that there's cookery books from the 14th century in both Italy and England that have a pasta and cheese casserole dish in them. Then a couple of hundred years later, Elizabeth Raffald came along in 1770 and published her cookbook, The Experienced English Housekeeper, and this had the first modern recipe for macaroni and cheese. It had a white sauce with cheddar in it. It was mixed with macaroni, parmesan was sprinkled on top, and then it was baked until it was bubbly and golden. And that is what anybody would call a macaroni cheese. It's been almost 250 years since she published her recipe. Things have changed a lot in England in that time, but we still love macaroni and we still love cheese. But we now love a few extra things. So I'm gonna up the level of my macaroni by adding a nice crispy sourdough bread and spicy chorizo topping. I'm also not holding back on the cheese by having a gouda, cheddar and red Leicester to give it a triple threat of beautiful gooey cheeses. To start our recipe, we're going to melt our butter in a saucepan over a medium heat. We'll then add our flour, stir it around and cook it out for a couple of minutes. To this we'll add 2 to 3 roughly chopped garlic cloves, which will then cook out for another couple of minutes. Next up, we're going to add our milk gradually to the saucepan whilst continuously stirring. By not adding the milk all at once, we're hopefully going to eliminate any lumps. Once you've used up all the milk, you should be left with a smooth and fairly loose creamy sauce. Using a box grater, I'm going to grate our gouda, red Leicester and cheddar before adding it to the white sauce. I'll also add in 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard and a good grind of black pepper before stirring it all together and removing it from the heat. Bring a large saucepan of water to the boil before adding your macaroni, and then cook it until about 2 minutes before its cooking time is over. This will prevent the macaroni from overcooking when we put it in the oven later. We'll then drain off our macaroni before adding it to the cheese sauce and giving it a good stir around. To make our crispy bread topping, we're going to take our sourdough bread and put it into a food processor along with our chorizo. We'll then blitz it up until we have a rough breadcrumb. We'll then chop up a small bunch of thyme before adding it to the food processor and giving it a final blitz. Make sure that your macaroni cheese is in an oven-safe dish before you sprinkle over the lovely breadcrumb topping and pop it in the oven at around 180 degrees for half an hour. Once the breadcrumb topping is lovely and crispy and the cheese is bubbling up around the sides, it's time to serve. I love putting it with a lovely fresh salad and maybe a slice of garlic bread. My whole house smells incredible right now, so I'm afraid I'm just going to have to try this. Hands down, that is the best macaroni cheese I've ever had. And I think I'm allowed to say that even though I made it. Because you've got that nice crispy topping with the chorizo, the spiciness of the chorizo that really cuts through the delicious 3 cheese richness of the sauce underneath. I could eat bowls of that. And especially on like a cold winter's day, you come home, what's for tea? Macaroni cheese with a chorizo breadcrumb topping? Yes please, any day of the week. I've really enjoyed this recipe. I'm going to keep eating this after I finish filming. And I hope you have too. And if you have, then why not leave me a like? And if you're not subscribed already, then hit that button and stay up to date with all my videos. It's a new year on the Funky Fresh Food channel and we're still releasing videos every week. So be a part of it. And if you've got any particular suggestions, then let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!